So in this video I want to share with you something very important. Even though I'm in the bath, I just had the inspiration. I hope you can still hear well. I'm hoping to have some nice water, but maybe it's distracting. But I want to share with you the importance of these three things in a relationship. They're imperative and vitally important if you want to have a good and happy and peaceful relationship that grows and is successful and develops and prospers and gets better as time goes by, as well as just simply having a really nice happy time together that's peaceful and not full of stressful and arguing and all sorts of funny emotions and, you know, disconnections and all sorts of funny things happening, like all this sort of stuff. Okay, so number one is, and it's taken me years to learn this stuff, by the way, so I hope it becomes invaluable to you, and lots of love and care for you. Beautiful people, beautiful sweet souls, care for you, love you, respect you, honor you, with you as a team here on earth. So number one is to stop blaming the other person for our emotions and our feelings, and then number two will be to stop making the other person wrong, just generally in life. So let's say stop making their emotions wrong. So validate their emotions is the opposite of making wrong. Taking responsibility is number three, which is the opposite of blaming. So instead of blaming other people for how we feel, we say to ourselves, and we can say to them, you know what, I take full responsibility for my emotions. You may have done something that I found upsetting, but that's my trigger. And if I had a deeper level of awareness and consciousness and understanding, I would have compassion, understanding, respect, honor, and a care for your well-being and an understanding for your lack of well-being, resulting in your behavior, which triggers me and reminds me and brings back memories of my childhood, which is the triggered emotion. So it's not you that needs to change per se. It's ultimately me that needs to understand and grow and develop more and to own my emotions. So it's not all on you to make me feel good. It's not your job to make me feel good. It's my job to make me feel good. So number one is stop blaming other people for our emotional state and our mental state. Number two is stop making other people wrong. And that means, basically speaking, not only their emotions wrong, but their behavior wrong. So stop criticizing, judging, blaming, attacking, condemning, etc. All these things are wrong making. So it's powerful and beautiful when you actually validate and you allow and you accept somebody and you practice non-resistance, and you really care, and you stop like pressing people's buttons or poking them or trying to pick a fight with them. And I've done all of this stuff in the past, and I still do various amounts of this to much smaller amounts of that I describe in this entire video. Okay, so it's been a work in progress, but it's been an amazing journey, and the results are astounding and flabbergasting. It really is. Today, like for example, my partner said was very sweet. She said thanks, and she said sorry for being her way and thanks for being my way. And in the past, it just would have led to a big fight and a big upset emotions from the two of us. A whole lot of not fun stuff, my friends. A lot of sad and hurtful stuff in all honesty. So this stuff is life changing, and for me it's the number one most powerful stuff we can do to raise our consciousness and our frequency and vibration. It's stuff related to our heart chakra. It's not about gaining knowledge about conspiracy theories or truth seeking, because most conspiracy theories are totally true. But we'll leave that to a different video. It's not about gaining information or learning stuff. It's about practicing and being in an energy of the heart. Okay, that's the number one thing you can do to change the frequency of the planet and your own frequency and consciousness. Tap into your heart center more. Okay, so this video, my playlist below, all about relationships and conscious relationships, conscious communication, will set your world on fire and set your heart on the light with a beautiful glow. So yeah, number three would be take responsibility for our emotions, and that's related to number one. So these are essential. So stop blaming other people for our state, if it's whatever it is, and to start practicing the quotation: I'm 100% responsibility for my emotions, and I'm 100% responsibility for the quality. Sorry, I'm 100% responsible for the quality of my experience. So that helped me to get out of the moods and the idea of feeling of being victimized and blaming others, and to start saying, hey, listen on, I can use all these excuses and be sad and upset and moody and grumpy, or I can book myself up, change my perception, feel into a different heart-centered way of interpreting and feeling and perceiving, and choose to be happier instead. And like, life's short. Like, I don't want to be going around just being in a huff and blaming somebody else. I want to take responsibility for my emotions, boost myself up, be more cheerful, or at least less negative words and behaviors towards somebody, and to try and make a situation better instead of worse. And if I'm going to say or do something, make it helpful instead of unhelpful. And instead of speaking my truth and let other people deal with it, which I don't agree with that exactly 100% of the time for sure. Instead of erecting boundaries and speaking my truth necessarily, I will speak and do something that's helpful. So there's no point in speaking something truthful, saying you're being narcissistic, or you're just in your ego right now, or that's just your pain body speaking. This might be true, but is it helpful? Absolutely not. It just creates more intensity of emotions. So what we want is a de-escalation instead of an escalation. We want to de-escalate the intensities and the emotions, okay, and the stress. And this is loving. And this one, my partner responded this way to me today, because I practice everything I'm speaking in this video. It's wonderful. It's just like it's a godsend. It changes the life. It's a game changer. So they are 3 of the most important things we could do. There's other things, but these 3 are vital for self-growth and emotional maturity. And emotional maturity is the name of the game, because otherwise you're just left with 2 inner childs fighting each other out. So emotional maturity is related absolutely to the heart, and emotional maturity is, for me, the number 1 thing any of us could be doing in terms of raising the frequency and the consciousness of ourselves and of the planet, doing our part for the planet. So when we stop bickering, fighting, attacking, blaming, judging and resisting others, be it our partner, our parent, our children, our brothers or sisters, our work colleagues, random people we meet around the place, strangers, etc., or anybody whatsoever we can think of, including our pets, anything whatsoever. When we change ourselves and be the change we want to be in the world, then we become not only an example and a role model, but we alter and change the frequency and the consciousness of the planet, and especially ourselves, but ultimately the consciousness of the planet as well, and our town, everywhere. It's very powerful. Studies have been done on this, where people in more crime cities, which is a big meditation done all at the same time, for peace. People focus on peace instead of focus on the problem. You focus on the solution instead of the problem. When you focus on what you want to see happen, envision the world you want to see, or the emotions or the connections you want to see, then crimes were reduced in that town or city as a result of people focusing on what they want, which is the good stuff. So you can do that in your life. And what I recommend is, if you have problems in your relationship or anything in your life, or the global situation at the moment, the 2020, don't focus on the doom and gloom situation. Don't focus on think the thoughts. Don't align yourself to the thoughts of what other people who may be sick or unaligned are thinking. Don't focus on their dream. Dream and focus on your dream of peace, beauty, love, harmony, connection, balance, like working together, fairness, justice, love, integrity, warmth, sweetness, helping each other out, working together. It's all this beautiful stuff, everybody. Focus on health. Focus on envisioning a healthy scenario and outcome, and do that with your relationship or any other human you're with. Don't focus on things like becoming hectic or blown out of proportion or fights. Don't focus on arguments. Focus on how to create peace, and focus on peace, and focus on and imagine and envision peace within yourself, and how you can achieve that, and how you can bring and envision and focus on it, manifesting and being the peace and love you want another person to experience and feel from and through your own behaviors, which are carefully and heart-centeredly and methodically responded to. You respond to others instead of reacting from stuff like ego, pain body, childhood trauma. Imagine and intend, set the intention, responding carefully from your heart instead, in all of these tips I've shared in this video. And I promise you, my friends, when you do this, like John Rose says, you're in for a treat. So I'll leave you with some questions to ask that are very powerful and pivotal, and I highly recommend using them. And one of those questions is, well, let's say somebody's upset with you, which often happens with people with childhood or adult trauma and abuse, such as myself and my partner and various other people, my mom, dozens and dozens, nearly everybody, okay, to certain degrees. So what to say is like, what would have felt like good to you, or what would have been the best thing I could have done or said to you in this time when you reflect back, or even if something just happened a few moments ago, or even like an hour or two later, or a few days later, emotions are settled down a little bit. And the question can be like, what would have helped the most in this situation for me to do or say? Like, how could I have been very helpful, or what would you really liked, like optimally, or your number one choice? Like, if you had your wish, like what would have been the best thing for you to receive or feel from me? What would you have liked or needed? Various things, but not just liked or needed necessarily, but like that's a really good question. I recommend that. But I think like for me, what I like at the moment the most is like what would have been music to your ears? Like, what would you have liked the most? What would have been your number one preference to receive or hear from me? Jane, that's so helpful. So yeah, another thing not to do is don't try and force arguments or force conversations at the wrong time. There's a quotation called "choose your battles," and that's a little bit part of what I'm saying here. So don't try and force yourself to have a discussion or an argument or talk with somebody who's not ready right now to listen or to talk back to you. So what this means is learn how to give space. So know that when you need space, like for example, you could say to yourself, but say to another person potentially too, I feel very stressed and overwhelmed or sad or angry, any of those or all of those, and I need space. So this is like non-violent communication. I feel something and I need something. I feel this way and this is my resulting need. I feel overwhelmed and stressed and I need some space right now for a while, and I'll talk to you like sometime when I'm able to. So this is a real like worksheet, sort of workbook type of video. So another thing you can do is you can set the intention and start the practice of honoring and respecting where people are at physically, mentally, emotionally, where they're at emotionally and what they need. So honor and respect what they need at this moment and what they're feeling. Like sometimes we all feel tender, very hurt and upset, and raw or vulnerable. And what we're not ready for is a conflict, and what we truly deeply want is for someone to be peace, bring peace, and do something that's helpful to us. And usually another thing we can do, okay, so this is like many tips, okay, that I've been processing a lot this year, 2020. It's just gone the 1st of August. So another thing you can do, okay, is choose to soften instead of harden. Soften your words, how you speak, how you behave with somebody. This will powerfully change your relationships. Another thing is you can lean in. Go towards somebody, lean in. Don't become their enemy, push them away and try and run away from them necessarily. But when you're ready and able, not when you need space, but when you're ready and able, lean into the relationship, lean in. Try and connect, not to disconnect. Try and be there for somebody, help, be helpful, be loving, be peaceful. Then they'll feel the peace and love, and they'll see your efforts, especially if you're asking questions of like, how can you help and what would be most helpful in this situation in the future, for example. So life-changing. So I hope this provides the structure of the fast track of how to massively elevate your relationship. Much more like what some people call 5D consciousness, much more heart-centered and higher frequency instead of the more previous, like where we're coming from on the planet, much more like 3D, ego, pain, etc. So instead of perpetuating hurt, we're like healing or fixing and healing and soothing and loving each other properly. Because love isn't a word, love is an action. I love that. So yeah, I hope this helps provide a structure for the fast track for you to grow. So much that I've learned and been practicing, and through so many of my experiences, which we could call mistakes, but they're not mistakes because we learn from them, but just tons of mistakes / experiences. Care for you, really do. I want you to succeed and be powerful. I want your beloved partner to succeed and be powerful. And everybody you know in life, everybody you touch, be the light worker and the healer, the way shower and the way changer that you're designed and born to be. That's the truth right there. Woo! Woo! I'm a Scotman. I'm a Scotman. I was bouncing around the cart that the other day. There's a guy who was very impressed with me going by. Yeah, he's like looking over me. Yeah, that's good. I like that. It's good to have fun, my friends. A lot of people like that post and the videos I made. Maybe I'll share this at the end here, okay? Because like, it's not all about serious stuff. It's about happiness, play, fun, laughter, so much, and smiles. It really is. Practice more smiling and laughing in your life. Highly recommend it. Love yous all, my friends. Stay powerful, stay beautiful, stay blessed. You're beautiful. I love yous all, and we all love each other deep down. We're all good deep down.